Hey YouTube, RicoKnows here. Going to talk to you guys about the best linebacker room in the Big 12. If you didn't know, I'm currently evaluating every single defense in America in preparation for the season. If you're not an MVP, you probably want to become one, right? The football season's coming up. We bet on every single game for the college football season against the spread. I'm around 60%. At some point during the bowl season, we were 65% for all bowl games, okay? And there was 34 games in a row there. What I'll tell you guys is we tend to get them right. I tend to get them right. But if I want to get prop bets right, if I want to get all the different prize picks right, I have to study the offenses and the defenses in depth. And if you didn't know, I evaluate every single team. Let me show you guys something. I'm going to pull this into the screen here. And I evaluate every position group from every single team. So I've already done the entire offense in all the groups. I'm currently working on the defense. Well, while I do the defense, sometimes you got to take a breather, right? Sometimes you got to slow down and step away from the screen and just talk about it and try to digest what you're looking at on tape. Because what I do is I go back and watch all the game film as much as I can, right? We record all the games off ESPN Plus, off YouTube TV, and we keep them for the entire offseason. I go over them over and over and over during the offseason, trying to assess transfers, trying to assess who's returning, things of that nature. And in this particular case, I decided to just do a video right here, right now, to talk to you guys about the best linebacker rooms in the Big 12. I'm looking at the Big 12, and the reason I brought this up is because I think I am looking at one of the greatest linebacker rooms in the country. And I can only do, the way my metrics work, I do a scale from 1 to 10. So I'm giving them a 10, but there's so much more than that. There's so much more than that, and it's amazing when I look at it on tape. So I'll start from the bottom and work my way up. Okay, so when we're looking at linebacker rooms, the best linebacker rooms will be at the top. I'll start at the bottom, though. At the very bottom is Houston. Houston's linebacker room leaves a lot to be desired. I'm sorry to tell you that. Obviously, a new coach coming in, taking over for the departed Dana Holgrimson. He gets fired. Willie Fritz comes in from Tulane. He does bring Platt Jr. with him, understanding the system, brought his defensive coordinator from Tulane. They brought in one transfer on the defensive line, in the linebacker room, and in the secondary. None of those transfers are starting, though. Houston's cupboard is bare. A lot of people left. So who did they get? Well, they have Jamal Morris. That should be Morris, not Maurice. Oh, boy, did I post this? We need to edit that. That should be Morris. I apologize. We're doing this in real time. Got it. That should be Morris. That's crazy. I'm pretty sure it's Morris. Matter of fact, give me my notes section. It is Jamal Morris. Senior transfer is what I have. Sorry about that. All right, let me stay focused. So they got Michael Batten coming in, though. This is a transfer. He tied for the lead of tackles for ULM. So they do have an experienced guy coming in at linebacker. But when I watch them on tape, they look slow. They don't look explosive. They don't look violent at the point of contact. Well, there's a lot of things that they kind of just do okay. Nothing in there screams NFL. Nothing in there screams superstar. It's just the linebacker room, bro. Congratulations. You're turning over a lot of recruiting misses and probably need to find your own recruits and do well in the transfer portal. At 15, I have Cincinnati. Very, very substandard tape. Like, I'm not excited about it. Dingle and Thompson do not pop on tape for me. They look like FBS linebackers. Nothing special. I'm serious. I apologize. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would probably give them somewhere in the 3 or 4 range. Let me explain the scale. If you're a 9 or a 10, you're NFL caliber draft picks. Okay, 10 is first round draft picks. 9 is you're going to the NFL. 8 is first team all conference. If you're a first-team all-conference kind of guy, you're getting like an 8. A 7, second-team all-conference, and you have a lot of potential. 6, honorable mention, maybe a group of 5 all-conference player, things of that nature. Okay, those are your 6s. Your 5s is your average FBS player. Below average is where we start talking about these scores. And that's kind of where I see the Cincinnati linebackers, especially if I go look at tape. So I find myself, I go back and look at film from 2021, 2022, because I'm trying to find every single play of these players' careers. And let me tell you, when I go back and look at the older games and you see other linebackers that were at Cincinnati back when Fickle was there, you go, whoa, what happened to these guys? It's like Jaheim Thomas, 6'4", 250 pounds, 4-star, just transferred from Cincinnati to Arkansas last year, led them in tackles, and now he just transferred to Wisconsin. Like, that's what was at Cincinnati 2 years ago, or at least 1 season ago. And here we have Dingle and Thompson, and they look nothing like the old linebackers that Cincinnati had. It's unfortunate, so there you have it. At 14, you have Colorado. Levante Bentley, just one of the cast-offs from Clemson. They didn't quite make it. And then Trevor Woods moving down from safety, right? You got a lot of defensive backs. You got to move somebody to linebacker. Gaining weight. He looks like an athletic linebacker. It's encouraging. But in the grand scheme of things, in comparison to the other linebackers in the Big 12, it's not comparable. Like, they're not there. Jalen Wester, shout out to him, transferring in from FAU. Good young talent. Just a group of 5, I guess, above average player, if you will. But when you compare that to the starters in the Big 12, apples and oranges, bro. Apples and oranges. At 13, I have West Virginia, and they probably have the most potential to move up on this chart. When you look at Josiah Trotter, that is Jeremiah Trotter's other son. Okay, he missed last season with an injury, but he's penciled in to be a starter, which is nuts because Ben Carter was the freshman of the year for West Virginia in their linebacker room, their defensive freshman of the year, and then you have Lathan. But Cutter and Trotter are probably the future at linebacker. With a very strong secondary, I think that there's going to be a lot of pressure on the front 7 to make shit happen. Ty France transferring in from Gardner-Webb really matters. West Virginia's defense is a little intriguing. Another thing about West Virginia's defense is I think they're going to be fresh. I think they're going to be fresh every game because their offense is going to churn out first downs. There's going to be no punts. There's going to be no quick scores. They're just going to be grinding out teams, and the defense will get a lot of rest while the offense holds the ball. Yep, so I think they're going to play great. I look forward to seeing what Trotter and Cutter do on tape, but in game film. But so far, so good. If you go back and watch Josiah Trotter's high school tape, there's a play, like first or second play on the huddle film, he's just running down a running back at an angle, and I mean, he tackles him 40 yards down the field. He's got sideline to sideline speed. He has the NFL pedigree. I really like the West Virginia linebackers. They're just nothing compared to what's in front of them. It's unfortunate. You have potential down here, and then you have bona fide superstars above you. There's nothing else to it. At 12 is where we see our first bona fide. What is wrong with me, bro? I just realized they're numbered incorrectly. Holy smokes. 2, 3. What is wrong with me? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Bro, when you're moving, when you're working that fast, it says something wrong, try again. I'm doing it again, bro. Oh no, don't do this to me. Oh, we're saving this. Oh, this is gonna suck. Oh, you know why? Because I'm actually trying to save the preview. I get it. Watch this. Discard this. Go back. I'm sorry, guys. You're gonna see how the sausage is made. And now we go in here and we edit this post. This should work. And we're gonna go like this. Tell me I can do this. Man, why does it move the damn mouse so much? Sorry, y'all. Boom. Worked. Because I'm Rico. Okay, now, back to what I was saying. When you go to Baylor, you start running into a superstar. Matt Jones steals all the tape. I think he's number 2 on the roster. I think he's number 2 when I was watching film. Remember, when you watch film, you're just looking for numbers. If I probably don't have it up. I don't have it up. When you watch Baylor, though, so last year, let me talk about this. Number 2, Matt Jones. Last year, they had a guy that transferred in. I think it was Mike Smith. Mike Smith was supposed to be everything. He was the leading tackler from Liberty. Remember, Liberty lost its 2-star linebackers. One went to Baylor, and then one went to SMU. And the guy who goes to Baylor was better than everybody, but he got injured. So Baylor went out and just had terrible luck last year, and their star linebacker just went down with an injury. Liberty still had a phenomenal season, missing their 2 linebackers. They found other linebackers. SMU had a great season because they found another linebacker from Temple. That's a whole nother story. But when you look at Baylor, Matt Jones came in the clutch, and he's great. Matt Jones is special, and it hurts me that they're down here. And the only reason I have them down here is because Brooks Miller has been at school for a really long time and has never really performed at the level of all these other guys. And there's really no potential there to improve. So I like Matt Jones. He's a known commodity. I hope he has a big year. You're going to see number 2 everywhere. All right, Texas Tech. Speaking of missing an entire season, Jacob Rodriguez missed last season. He's coming back. He's a leader on the defense. And then Ben Roberts, a freshman, showed out, balled out. I made a video about him on TikTok, and I told you guys he reminded me a lot of like, I think I said Brian Urlacher, but when you watch him, he's not Brian Urlacher. He's a little slower, a little more bulky, but he led Texas Tech in tackles. So it kind of hurts me that I put Texas Tech back here when one of their linebackers is currently at UCF, Pierre here, and he was like 4th on the team in tackles, and Ben Roberts led the team in tackles. So it feels like I'm getting it wrong, but I'm not. When I watch the film, Pierre and Barr look far and away better than Rodriguez and Roberts. But Rodriguez coming back could surprise the world, right? Then you have BYU, Jack Kelly. I talked about it on Twitter last week. Jack Kelly, watching him individually, stud. Absolute stud coming out of Weber State, following his defensive coordinator to BYU. Gonna be a problem. BYU's defense is usually really good because they go on missions and they come back and they're physically mature and developed, and they're a little older than most people. I don't care. They got studs. Shout out to Ben Bywater. Hope he does well. Utah, Reid led them in tackles. I am underwhelmed by a lot of Utah tape. Barton had an interception in a game that was really impressive when I was watching the tape. I liked his athleticism in that play. But you're looking at dudes that were buried on the depth chart in Fotu and Barton, and it's because they have studs. It's because, it's next man up, and we'll see what happens. But for me, Utah's linebackers are right here at 9, and they can't move up much further. And some of you might have a knee-jerk reaction and say, oh, my God, Utah's defense is the best in the Big 12. Like, dude, just stop talking like that and turn on the damn tape. That's all I can tell you to do is just turn it on. All right? Just turn it on. They're not comparable. Kansas is deep at linebacker. The fact that right now they don't have J.B. Brown penciled in as a starter is nuts to me. J.B. Brown, a transfer from Bowling Green last year, was like 4th or 5th on the team in tackles. Complete stud. And then there's Berryhill and Wheeler. I think Kansas has no superstars at linebacker. Just a lot of depth, a lot of quality players, no real drop-off when people rotate in and out. I like the depth of Kansas, but no superstars to speak of. UCF, Ethan Barr is a stud. Ethan Barr, 2-time captain at Vandy, leading the Vandy defense in the SEC, playing great. And then he transfers. DeBoer and them boys recruited him to go up to Washington. That's right. He was transferring from Vandy to the national championship runner-up with DeBoer and them. And he transferred to Washington. And then DeBoer leaves to go to Alabama. And he transfers from Washington in the spring. He's like, all right, I guess I'm going to bounce. And he goes to UCF. And now UCF has one hell of a linebacker room. And it's not just, they're 7th in the conference. And you might say to yourself, well, Rico, it's 7th. It's not top 5. It's not whatever. Bro, these units at the top, these units at the top ain't to be played with. So just trust. They're good. UCF's good. I love the group number 6 here. Caleb Bacon will be the leader of that defense, and Jack Sadowsky's there. Iowa State's defense. Iowa State, every time I look at them on tape, I have a hard time understanding how – they have a terrible schedule. They have a really rough schedule. Them and West Virginia have very daunting schedules. Iowa State looks – I don't know. They look special to me. They look good. They look good, and I can't deny it. I'm going to be cheering for them almost every single week. Their offense is loaded. Their defense, everybody in the secondary is special. Everybody's returning. They got go look and look. Maybe you don't want to watch. Maybe you don't want to watch film. Maybe it takes too long. Go check their stats from last season, and then check to see who's returning. And you're going to go, Jeremiah Cooper, Purchase. You're just going to be going through names, bro. And you're going to be going, oh, my God. Everybody's back. Iowa State returns the farm. I'm telling you, Iowa State's a problem. And they look great. It's a good problem to have. Number 5, Arizona State. I believe Arizona State addressed their linebacker room with the transfer portal. Zyrus Fiaseu. I can't say his name, bro. Don't judge me. Zyrus, coming over from San Diego State, was the best linebacker at San Diego State. Transfers in. The recruiting websites gave him no love. They just labeled him 3 stars and said he's nothing. This is one of the very best linebackers in the Mountain West. Transferring into Arizona State. Elliott, transferring in from New Mexico State. I told you guys about him all season long, Keshawn Elliott. Told you he was the only guy on defense in New Mexico State that I thought was going to transfer to the FBS. I was wrong. A lot of guys, or to the Power 4. A lot of guys transferred to the Power 4, but he was an absolute monster. And then Jordan Crook. He's a former Duncanville kid and went to Arkansas. It didn't work out. There's some studs at Arkansas at linebacker, and 2 of them to be exact. One went to Ole Miss, one went to Wisconsin. So here he is on the outside looking in, and then the wide receivers coach at Arizona State is the son of the Duncanville head coach. I'm trying to put it all together for you. So they got this kid over here that's a friend of a friend, a hookup of a hookup. Turns out he gets a spring ball, and he plays out of control. I don't know how you keep him off the field. He looks that good. I don't know if there's enough spots for him to get on the field, but Crook is great. So shout out to Arizona State, and I wrote etc. because they had a bunch of dudes I believe in. Their tape looks clean. Like, the tape looks good. Austin Moore's a monster at K-State at number 4, and Purnell is very good. I don't like Marenco. Marenco is a transfer from New Mexico, I think. I watched the tape. I don't know. I don't know what that's about, and I don't know why he's starting. I don't know what's going on, man. Maybe I trust what they're doing and the way they evaluate their players. K-State, bro. Austin Moore is a superstar, though. Austin Moore is NFL. So Austin Moore is up here. I think he's NFL caliber. Number 3, TCU. Namdi led the team in tackles. Namdi led that defense. And then you go get a all-conference Pac-12 linebacker and Caleb Elarms-Orr coming over from Cal. That is 2 studly linebackers. That's a motherfucking problem right there. That is a great linebacker room. Great linebacker room. Comparable to any linebacker room in America. I'm telling you that right now. Right there, boom. Those 2, comparable to any linebacker room in America. Okay? Then we get to number 2 on the list. Arizona Wildcats. Arizona Wildcats, Jacob Manu, and Justin Flowe. It's hard to get off this, dude. I cannot explain to you guys how high I am on Arizona. As a collective, as a team. I think they're being severely disrespected. They were number 11 or 12 or 13 in the final polls. And then now they're magically not in the top 20. They're treating them like they're Boise State, bro. Remember when Boise State would go undefeated, make the top 5, and then the next preseason they would have to start out of the top 25? Over and over and over again? Because they just didn't want them in the bowl games. They didn't want them taking slots away from SEC teams. It was ESPN's doing, bro. And here we have it again. They're doing everything they can to make sure. I mean, if Arizona was a preseason top 10 team, the way they deserve to be, if they had 2 losses, they'd still make the playoffs. But they're doing this to make sure they don't make the playoffs if they lose any games. And I'm telling you, Arizona's better than a lot of other teams. Arizona lost to Washington last year with all their weapons by 7 points. Arizona, if they had started Noah Fafita at the beginning of the season, they would have been a top 10 team for sure. But they didn't start them. And here they have them all season long. But when you turn on the tape, the defense is great. Manu and Flowe, 2 linebackers with just an immense amount of ability. You watch the tape and you're like, whoa, those are players. I promise you, those are players. And then you see it here, bro. It says huge gap. A fucking Grand Canyon gap to number 1. Number 1 linebacker room in the Big 12 is Oklahoma State, and it is not a game. Oklahoma State, and it is not close. They got 3 linebackers comparable to anybody on the list. One of them far and away better than everybody. Nick Martin is the best linebacker in the Big 12, and I don't care if NFL teams don't want to draft him. He is the best linebacker in the Big 12. He can run sideline to sideline. I watched him run down. Who did he run down? He ran down somebody, and I'm talking about on a play. He runs him down and tackles him. I'm not kidding. Who was it? I know who it was. It's got to come to me, though. It was Luther Burden. Luther Burden III, bro. Missouri. I'm pretty sure. It was somebody incredibly fast, and he ran him down. Go turn on the tape on that number 4, bro. That number 4 is the real deal. Nick Martin's tape is second to none. Oh, if you don't know, if you look him anywhere and you don't find Nick Martin, it's Nicholas Martin, but he goes by Nick. Nick Martin is him, Collin Oliver, Is it number 30 in that picture down below me? Those two dudes, I mean, they're all conference. And then Justin Wright is a team captain, 100 tackle guy from Tulsa. And Justin Wright missed last year. He went down with an injury. He didn't even play last year. So now you have 100 tackle guy. Justin Wright looks like a Dick Buckus type linebacker. And then you got Nick Martin, who's just far and away more talented than everybody. Oklahoma State's linebacker room is not to be played with. So these are the best linebacker rooms in the Big 12. The best. This is them ranked in order, at least according to my film study. I'm not here to be different. I'm not here to show my fandom. I don't give a shit about clicks or views. What I care about is accuracy, because this information is going to feed my algorithms, my databases, for when I give an accurate assumption or assessment on what's going to be the outcome within a game. Okay, this helps me understand whether or not they are in position to make tackles against dual threat quarterbacks. I look at that a lot on tape. How do they react? How do they shed blocks or get off of blocks at the second level? How do they read and react to their plays? Who comes off the field during certain possessions or certain down and distance? I study all of this because it's important to know who's going to be on the field for a 3rd and long versus a 3rd and short. It's important to know how often they stop conversions, and I don't need to look at PFF ratings and others. I need to watch the film, see the individual players, and over the years, we just concatenate and build this information. We just stack it on top of each other. So next year, I don't have to see tape on certain players. I already know them. They're known commodities. And it gets easier with every year. It gets easier no matter what happens, because I study all season long. Watch me on TikTok Live. I do it all day, 12 to 16 hours a day. You can see me sitting there watching tape, putting in the work. This is not a game. This is not a magic trick. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Enjoy these linebackers, y'all. Peace.